Welcome back. It's the Bordas and Bordas hotline of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani, Gene Carr. You got a lot of tweets on these topics. Willie with AY says McAvoy's got to be suspended for the first 2 games of the next series against the Canes. Gene, would you agree with that? There will be supplemental discipline. There should be anyway, even though McAvoy's not one of those guys he engages this kind of stuff. But he hit him in the head. Yeah.
Everyone who saw this thought there should be or will be supplemental discipline.
I think it'll be one. What do you think about that box, the K box in the strike zone when we talk about baseball? I think I can do without that. As you mentioned in the break, it is sponsored. Everything's sponsored, so therefore you have a sponsor. But I challenge you to take it away, and you make the call on every one of those pitches. And I guarantee you, you're not going to see it the same way the box sees it. You know what I mean?
No, the only point of that box is to make the umpires look bad. And, you know, the more it's up there, the worse they're going to look, the more conscious of it they're going to be. You know, again, I'd much prefer the umpire make the call. A strike is a pitch that the umpire calls a strike. To me, that's the definition of a strike. It has nothing to do with the strike zone.
All right, let's get to the lines. We've got 5 people. We're ready to roll. Marilyn and Munhall, you're first. Go ahead, Marilyn.
Hi, good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, Marilyn.
Hi.
Besides draft pick Bush, who do you think of the draftees will have the most impact in the next season?
All right, Gene, we'll get your comment first. Thanks, Marilyn.
Well, I guess Deontay Johnson, the Steelers have a really high level of confidence in him, even though his kind of pre-draft analysis was kind of all over the map. There are a lot of people who think he's not going to be able to separate at this level the way he did in college. But if I had to pick somebody, I would pick him, mostly on the merits of his, his being the 3rd round pick.
Yeah, I think when you look at him, I mean, he's going to have a role, you would think, right off the bat. And, you know, I think Lenny Snell, is it Lenny? I can't even remember.
No.
Benny Snell.
Benny Snell.
We had a guy here who used to work called Lenny Snell. That's why he's on my mind. In fact, his shirt hangs in the other studio.
He always wanted to be drafted.
He wanted, yes. But Benny Snell wants to wear number 26, which I find interesting. And quite frankly, he can have the number.
Absolutely.
And some people object to that, which I don't understand why. But I think he can have an impact just because he'll probably get a chance, just like Jalen Samuels did last year, and made the most of it. All right, let's go out to Jim in the South Hills. Hey, Jim, how are you?
Great, Bob. Gene, you finally you're the first person that ever defined instant replay the way that I have. And, it's almost like it's become kind of a philosophical thing as opposed to a scientific thing. And I think, it's just got to go. My favorite sport is golf, and I think golf could lead the way. Having said that, what happened with Dustin Johnson at Oakmont was just terrible.
Well, that's not going to happen ever again. They're not doing that anymore. You can't call in from Iowa and say, hey, this guy touched his ball.
Here's my point about it, though, Bob. My point is this. My point is that the cameras are on DJ every single shot he hits, and 75 of the other players, they're never on him. Golf is a game that you call penalties on yourself, and I think golf could somehow lead the way to say
it really doesn't use replay though. I think I honestly, you said at your beginning that you don't want to, you want to go back and get rid of it altogether. Is that what you're saying? Completely.
So because we're human beings, we make mistakes.
Okay, but that's not going to happen. It would be culture shock.
I understand, but I would love. Well, I don't know about that. We'll see. It probably won't because of the money is ultimately the bottom line, just like happened in Kentucky Derby. But one sport has to lead the way and figure it out. And I kind of think golf could be the one, but now that they probably won't. Thanks, Bob.
Appreciate it. Gene, I want to ask you about another thing, that this is what happens when you have this kind of technology. In the Super Bowl, there were 106 cameras, high definition. They're all over the place. Yeah. They will catch every angle. Sometimes what you see, second angle, doesn't reveal to you what really is true. Right. How long do you wait? Now, if you're going to rely on that many cameras, aren't we saying that it's not clear cut? If you have to go to the 5th, 6th, 7th replay before you figure it out, the answer then is you don't overturn anything. It is what it is. Now, the call in the Saints game was just egregiously bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. Eventually the NFL is just going to have to, alert you on Tuesday who actually won that Sunday game. But, there was a really good observation by Art Rooney II at the owners' meetings a couple of months ago, and he pointed out that, regardless of how much technology is involved, 136 cameras, whatever it is, it's still on the other end of that going to be judged by a human. So humans are playing, humans are making mistakes. Now there's this interruption by technology, and on the other side of it, a human is going to make that decision. So you know what? Let's just cut out the middleman and let the humans do it.
Yeah, but I don't see it going
It's
anywhere
never
but
gonna
forward, and it's just going to keep going. And then you're going to get to a point where you just everything, it's too much, and it delays the outcome, which I don't like. Line 4, Moran in Bethel Park. What's up, Moran? How are you?
Hey, pretty good. You guys just touched on what I was going to say.
Stole your thunder?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But I've umpired baseball for a little over 20 years, and the game is played by humans, and it should be officiated by humans. I mean, it's...
Well, it is. As Gene said, the people ultimately overriding some replays or confirming them are humans. You're just looking at videotape. That's
Right.
all. That's the difference.
Right, the videotape should... I mean, we should, get rid of it. But like you said before, we're not, probably ever going to get rid of it.
And I think people would pull their hair out if they're watching games
Well-
and they know that the replay would have confirmed something. Now there's no more replay. You can't go back now. It's just too late for that, I think, Gene.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, or at least I keep describing this as taking the human element out of it, and I'm against that. But it's not just taking the humans out of it; you're taking the life out of it that way.
Yeah, right.
I mean, what if that had the Derby had just gone off as it ran? I mean, and you get a much more immediate sense of there was something really great going on there. It's not something you want to have. Someone come out and say, "Okay, wait 20 minutes. We'll tell you what actually happened." That's not entertainment.
No, and I read stories where people who had Country House ripped the ticket up. They thought they
Oh,
lost.
sure. I had maximum.
Yeah, I
security.
mean,
That's why he was disqualified.
you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to rip your tickets up. But at the same time, you think, okay, that's done. Never before has this occurred, and all of a sudden it occurred 22 minutes later. That's the other thing. How long does it take before you come to the conclusion? Now they said they had to conduct an investigation.
Yeah.
Well, come on. Is that for that moment to conduct the investigation, or is that part of something you do later?
Was that the reason they took no questions, because it had taken 22
Well, that's a bad
minutes?
look too.
It's a very bad look.
If you're the stewards in this and you're making the call, you owe it to everyone involved to sit there and answer questions. But that lady who was in charge, you can tell, didn't want any part of that. We got to go to a break. More calls on the way. It's 412-575-2600 right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.